Obviously, they've got a lot of the hard work done, but there's so many good teams here in Polaris that are filling up the top of the roster here. Obviously, there are 4 teams with only 1 loss. Make that, well, 2 with 4 wins now, and it just makes it that much more difficult to come into that one. But let's take a look. Hukar's highlights first. This is a team that did incredibly well in the first few weeks of the tournament and are keeping up that momentum. They've only got 1 loss on the board. They're looking to make it a quick entry into the playoffs.
Yeah, there is one copy pasta that I want to see associated with these guys, and it is #SignHukas.
Yes.
Because they absolutely deserve to be picked up by an organization. And I mean, we were talking right to Kix before, who was saying like some of these guys are still in high school, some of these guys are still not having like the full hours that a professional gamer gets. Hukas are in the exact same boat. They are doing all of this. They were on an unbeaten win streak until they came up against Finest. And all through this, it's just been 5 players finding time, finding their own scrims, finding their own practices, and they've been making such beautiful gameplay, such wonderful synergies, and really coming in with some amazing compositions.
Yeah, Yoru outdated, Chamber overrated, etc., etc. These guys
not going for the final lanes, not chancing
well,
it
see,
this
last
week.
time I did it on live broadcast, I didn't get it right, and it was terribly embarrassing, so I'm not going to do that again.
You misspelled hilarious.
Well, you know what, it's the same, one and the same, my lack of a brain is very funny to everybody, apparently, so, you might as well embrace it.
Well, Hukas are definitely going to be embracing the duelist role because they are actually one of these teams who, likewise, like we saw at Human Tripwires, they forego that chamber pick an awful lot of times, preferring to put David onto that jet role. And he is extremely skilled at it. The problem for Hukas is that they are a very momentum-based team, they're a very emotional-based team. And David's performance off of a good map can be extremely good. It can pick up monumentally. Off of a bad map, however, and we do see that impact start to significantly fall. And the problem is that Jet needs to create space not just for the Jet, but also for the rest of the team to make it onto the site. So there is going to be an awful lot of impact and stress placed upon that one player's shoulders.
And we can take a look at our second team here, who's, everything lies upon these last 3 games for them. KOVA. They've done so well so far. They've come up against a very, a mix of teams, and so far they've won 2, lost 2. They really, really need to get their heads down and start winning these games at this point because they don't really want a repeat of last stage.
Yeah, well, the good news for them is that they have by far faced the brunt of the top of the bracket. They have already run up against Finest. They have already run up against Excel. So now, if they're able to secure a win here, they just have to worry about potentially a win against Alliance. They don't even necessarily need a secure win against Human Tripwires next week. So I would argue this is definitely their best bet to show us why they do deserve a place in the regionals. They've had an extremely explosive start. We saw them up against Finest. They were actually the first team and only team. Rather the second team to be able to beat them, and that was off of an absolute glorious composition that we came through on Haven, that we actually were treated to see. That was Fade, Astra, and Neon. An absolute masterclass in mixing those 3 agents that they placed not just against Finest, but also against Excel, that pushed them into overtime and almost won them the map.
Our lovely graphics team have produced another head-to-head for you guys, and I think Moxie will want to talk a little bit about that. So let's take a look at our head-to-head for this matchup here. It's going to be Ale versus Sunshine.
I do love our production team giving me everything that I so desire, and there is a reason that we have picked these 2 players to go head to head, and that is that they both like to play the initiator role for their teammates. And we talked about the impact that the duelist role has to have for Hukas, so too does that duelist have to have an impact on KOVA's side, and a lot of that impact is dictated on the setup that the team allows, especially if you're coming in on the Jet. The Chamber obviously has the tools to be able to get themselves out of dicey situations. The Jet is far more reliant on setup from the rest of the team, especially the initiator, whether that is something like a Breach coming through the fault line, or a Sunshine prefers the Sky with the guiding lights, and then Ale picking up the KO with those flash drives. It can make the difference between a dead duelist and a duelist who wins you the round.
Yeah. Always one of the most important, especially in this meta right now, where generally double initiator is quite useful on a lot of different maps at this point in time. You know, you don't see a lot of double duelists anymore, you don't see too much double controller anymore. Double initiator, very common, and I mean double initiator, double sentinel, generally what you're going to see in most maps, but you know, initiator is always such an important role, so having two of them is definitely a big boon when you're attacking on a lot of these maps. I'm curious to see how this one's going to come out. Again, these two teams, the thing is, Hookahs, when we saw them come up against, I think it was XL, or it was Finest, I can't remember, one of those two teams, we were like, oh, they haven't really come up against a team that is really at the top of the leaderboard so far. We don't know exactly how good they are. They managed to beat them out, and they stayed up at the top of the leaderboard at that point. It's a very similar kind of deal with both of these teams coming up against each other, in that we don't really have a good idea of how they're going to match up against each other, but I'm very curious to find out exactly how that's going to come out, and I think that's a bigger part of the reason why the talent predictions are so varied between these two teams. Let's take a look at the map veto, because this is where it's all going to come down to what playing field they're going to be on.
Yeah, I would hope that we see Hookahs instantly ban out Haven, especially if they're still running that jet, and there it is. I get to feel really smug.
Well done.
I did my job, and I did my job good. Yeah. If you're still running that jet over the chamber, you don't have the means to escape things like the Fate utility coming out. You don't have the TP to get out of the Caesars, and if the Neon is able to get on top of you, that wombo combo of utility is just going to shred entire teams. And it is why Hookahs are going to be banning out both of Haven and Fracture. KOVA, on the other hand, deciding to ban out both Icebox and Ascent means that we aren't going to be headed off to Bind, Split, and Breeze as the decider. Split's an interesting one because we talk about initiating meta. Well, sometimes we've seen teams entirely forgo the initiator role to be able to run on that map pseudo triple duelist. Both the Chamber, the Raze, and the Reyna is something that a lot of teams really like running into. So whether we're going to get to see Sunshine and Ally switch up their roles and opt into different agents, we'll have to wait and see.
We're going to see the picks for Bind here to start things off. And these are something a little different, lovely, a little bit of variation here on Bind from the two teams. We've got Chambers from them, but apart from that, I think it's interesting the difference, once again, between Astra and Brimstone. They're going to allow for very different playstyles. It's always, you know, it used to be that Brimstone, Astra, you know, like, not massive difference. Now, Brimstone has that stim. It completely opens up new avenues of playstyles for these two controllers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this iteration, Brimstone is all about burr, go fast, and Astra is all about delay. Yep. The big difference maker is that Astra's delay prowess has been hit massively. You used to be able to just spam out smokes like a smoke machine. Now, unfortunately, you're very much relegated to the 25-second cooldown now ticking down for each smoke, as opposed to activating when both are active, allowing you to just cycle through smokes seamlessly, endlessly. Hookahs being on the attack, and this is a composition that should allow for very explosive rounds. They should be able to move into these distances very quickly. But again, you only now do have one stim beacon, which does mean if Jasmine is able to slow things down with things like those graph wells, that Hookahs can find their momentum petering out.
Okay. Pistol round. It's a slow start from both teams, neither of them too aggressive. Yeah, it's a welcome difference here. You know, we just watched Finest play and they run at everything on the defense this time. Got a nice little war of attrition to begin things, and it's always nice to see. You know, it's refreshing.
It's nice to get some time to just slow things down, take a leisurely drive as we wait for Hookahs to start stampeding their way up to a 60 miles per hour push. Toxin screen is really confusing KOVA. They don't quite know whether there are going to be a whole bunch of players pushing on through and trying to use that stim beacon. But they're doing a very good job actually of congealing around Showers, pushing Sunshine and Masked away. The Brim's been identified, but even Flash, they're still able to find a pick.
Oh, Ale finding heads as well. Oh, and makes the third happen too. That gives them the advantage, but David is so capable by himself. It's now 1v1. Doesn't matter how much damage you do to his team, David is always there to clear up the pieces. It's a very even fight, ending things out here. David has the Headhunter in hand though, which is going to be massively useful in this final fight. David over towards triple. Both players see each other. David uses the teleport. So Chessman isn't 100% sure where he's gone. Could have gone Showers, could have gone Lamps. David did go Lamps. Has 1 bullet left in the Headhunter. Classic for the rest of these shots. Jessamine starts to defuse within the smoke. But it is David who comes round from Lamps. Guess strong, Jessamine, unlucky. Who cars win the first round?
Yeah, it sort of feels unfair when it's a 1v1 and Chamber still has 1v2 available.
Hey,
Like, you spotted me, I spotted you, but blink and suddenly I'm gone.
And also I have a gun that can kill you in 1 hit from
Yeah.
any range. Have fun.
I mean, that's definitely one of those real reasons why Chamber is now a necessity. It feels like in a lot
Yeah.
of these compositions that you do very early on in these rounds win with Headhunter a whole lot of the time, and we do see in statistics how important pistols can be at setting yourself up for economy. There again is the Headhunter gonna be coming on through. As KOVA knowing that the Headhunter is going to be there and knowing that you can't really challenge B long if you want to find yourself still alive, trying to force out the Chamber's position. But David just gets to hold, and Jasmine's now given away a lot of where this Astra is.
Yeah.
As
At least,
who cares? They've only had one of their players spotted out.
yeah. At the very least, you can say, okay, maximum. Chamber now has 4 bullets left. So, hey, that's good. Oh wait, no, sorry, 6 left, maximum. But he only has 2 left, actually. So who cares? Now, I mean, the thing is, these are 2 very methodical teams. I feel like both of them waiting very late in the rounds. Hukar's waiting until 40 seconds left to push, and KOVA don't want to give anything away. They don't push anywhere whatsoever on the defense. David is going to clear angles because everybody is in a great position to trade him if he dies. And if he dies, he gets his ult now. Perfect. Right, in they move.
30 seconds
The
left.
thing is, though, that Hukar's having to wait that long don't have the time
Planted.
to try and make sure that they have full control of the site and have to use a lot of utility. Dim Beacon, smokes, paint shells to try and clear out places like Elbow to push KOVA away so they can get the spike planted. They have been able to position themselves quite nicely though. Crossfire, they're going to be in place if KOVA trying and move out from Garden. Mask making it a little bit harder with that Molotov. You can try and push through the orb, but it's gonna be that with the spray. Is able to find 1, Mishu able to find 2. So it's the Crossfire in action. Shed has to move on forward, but that puts you right into the Viper's crosshair. And Hukars will be able to retain the 2-point lead.
Shed hit masked in the pinky toe there. That was so sad to see. Barely hit mask, but he was so low on XP that he died anyway. So two casualties. Obviously, David died earlier in the round, but he's not too he's quite happy with that. He's got his tour de
he's
force
already got tour de force.
He's got enough money that he can buy an operator next round as well. He's not bothered whatsoever. So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty good for them. And then, yeah, out comes the tour de force immediately. It's really the only big gun the team has. Oh, and Sunshine manages to catch Shed with a spray before he can get out of there with the satchels. Oh, that puts KOVA in such an unfortunate position now. They've already lost one of their rifles. They know they're coming up against a tour de force. They'll have heard that voice line at the start of the round. So they can't really go anywhere. They're forced to the back of each site. Unless they want to clear things.
Sutma has to be so careful. Has to really rely on that toxin screen to keep your movement safe, because if the Viper falls, so too does controlling the vertical, so too does trying to snuff out the impact of this tour de force, because David is just looking. His little guiding light has a hint of where Ali is playing from, but can still hold on short as Vicious pressed into the corner.
Man.
Does not get cleared, but Sunshine's still able to find the pick first.
Okay, Hukar's doing massive work already. They haven't even lost a player yet. Mishu also takes down Ale. Sutma walks straight past the spike planter. Will get the kill, but is stuck inside of that, well, staying vulnerable. There was a toxin screen kind of through the wall that was making him vulnerable. Jesmond, last player standing, 1v3. Odds stacked against them. Staring straight down the barrel of a tour de force if he turns around the corner, no matter what. Oh, hey, he's not looking the right way. Scoped in, couldn't see it, but Mishu does manage to get that 3rd kill. Hukars make it 3, and I mean, they lost 3 players, but who cares? They have enough money to buy a... Who cares? Wukars. They have enough money to buy an operator whenever they want. They're not going to, because I feel like David didn't buy for a teammate, but he just doesn't want it right now. Just don't feel like it.
You
Fair
had
enough.
tour de force on round 3, Twiggy.
Yeah.
That is a feat. That is
Yeah.
a boast statement, if
Oh,
ever
yeah,
you saw
I
one.
guess
And
they-
having
yeah.
Tour de Force as well meant that Hookahs had an advantage that they should not have had.
Yeah.
They were coming in on a bonus, but arguably they still had the better pie.
Yeah.
With that gun now in playing, KOVA, having lost the third round, the round that they were saving up into, are now going to be affected. This is an eco for them when they should have been able to take that round with the better buy, with the rifles. Hookahs now have on their own person is Akimbo. Just going to be holding on short. Jasmine tries to challenge, but Akimbo and David are the ones who are able to immediately punish KOVA's angst. A little bit too antsy to try and push forward and try and secure those picks a little earlier on the round.
David taken down. Luckily, he did not buy an operator into the half buy eco kind of. Yeah, no, it's an eco. I saw all the sheriffs and I was like, whoa, they kind of committed a bit into this. No, they didn't. It's just only the players with sheriffs are still standing. Mishu gets the spike down. Akimbo holds down CT and makes sure he can communicate the footsteps coming through into elbow. Just holding around this corner, and again, Hookahs are in a great position to close out this round. They don't need to commit anything into this retake. You just want to wait and hold off every angle, make sure that nothing KOVA does catches them by surprise. Players moving around to elbow, players stay in CT. Shed manages to find the head of Mishu. Looking for another onto Mars, brings out the showstopper, guarantees himself a kill, now in a 1v1. But he still has a lot of work to do, and getting the spike defused while fighting off Sunshine is going to be almost impossible. With the amount of time left, he finds ahead! It's going to be milliseconds. I don't think he has it. I think it's just going to be like
I think he's got
0.25. No, 0.7. No, not happening. That was actually more than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like under half a second. No,
Yeah.
not even close. Damn.
Not quite able to get through the absolute arsenal that Sky has equipped.
Yeah,
Was
that's
guiding light into Trailblazer. That was not a lot that you could do to try and get through to that Sky until all of that utility had been exhausted and Hookah's able to take the round. KOVA, though, can now afford an operator to go toe-to-toe with David. Problem is that the operator's counter, the Viper's Pit, is available for Mishu when Hookahs need, and that is why Vicious is pushed up so aggressively forward, does not want to let them onto the site to be able to activate that ultimate. In fact, moves into Cubby so that you can't activate it a little bit earlier on from short and finds Mishu!
There you go. Nice little rendezvous out of that. You can back up, and suddenly, for the first time this game so far, KOVA gain themselves the upper hand to begin with. Hookahs can still retake this one. Only a 4v5. Things could be worse, and they still have that operator alive for their side. They still have Akimbo ready to push onto a site whenever needed. It's all up to how they play this one, and they slow things down. Ooh, Akimbo caught by that is going to give away a lot of information to Ale. So at least now
but-
KOVA know that they're
Well,
towards B.
They don't really, because if you look, there are still players anchored
Now
towards the
they
A.
Now they
KOVA
do.
being very reluctant to leave since David's actually still sniffing around A short, making it extremely hard for KOVA to tell whether or not that was a fake play come through. In fact, now Jasmine has been pulled away from screens and is starting to drift to defend his spawn and then over to the A site where the spike is going to be pushed through. Zeke is going to be coming out from showers, forcing Vicious to just keep a little bit of an attention towards that way so that Hookahs have been able to brute force their way onto site and get the spike planted, and then they can hang back and wait for the operator to not be able to hit them.
Sunshine manages to take down Jessamine, and somehow Sutma doesn't manage to get a kill through all of the bodies there. Mars gets one more, but Shed is there with a trade. Vicious finishes off David, and KOVA get their first round on the board. Hard fought, and manages to clutch it away from Hookahs, and now the healing begins for them.
Yeah, KOVA being able to afford to keep their players anchored towards the A site, even if it was a fake, given the fact that Chamber is just so well equipped to be able to deal with those repositions. There isn't a lot of punishment to just anchor with an operator. And unfortunately for Hookahs, yes, they're able to get the spike planted, but they don't have lamps control. And KOVA now have began that healing process, the regrowth, as it were. They are the ones with an operator. Hookahs are the ones who have to try and get their way onto site to activate the Viper's Pit, but we saw in the last round KOVA would just push up super aggressively. Vicious once again, this time actually now going to be pushing up through showers If you try and challenge the chamber, you can just rendezvous out. Meanwhile, you are denying the win condition that Hookahs are relying on.
Broom, broom. Let's go, Hookahs. Scream the fans. I can almost hear it in my room somehow.
Every single time I just hear vroom vroom, I'm in my mum's car. And I hate you for it.
That's even better. I like that. Well, again, Hookahs don't really want to push the envelope too much on the attack, quite literally. And they're just waiting. Leave it to 50 seconds now, and they head towards a site, but they're not even going to get onto site. Probably before 30 seconds hits the timer. Oh, Mishu gets shoulder peeked to oblivion. Shed taken out though. Ale gets 2 with a well-placed flash. Vicious finds one with the operator. Jessamine will just finish off David through the doors of the teleporter.
Yeah, Hookahs, the fact that they had to push towards the B site where they did not have the toxin screen, you saw what happened when they pushed down B long. The flash from Ali is perfect. The fact that you don't even actually need one of your own players to play off of the sky, that you can peek out and still get that many picks, is why Ali is such a ferocious sky to worry about. As for KOVA, they have so much map control. Shed, Ali, Vicious, they are all very much self-sustaining. And for Hookahs, they're just running into a lot of delay, a lot of death. And so it's going to be a far weaker buy than they're wanting. They still, by the way, have not been able to put in this Viper's Pit that Mishu has been holding on to since what, round 4?
Yeah. A very interesting defensive position here from KOVA. Well formulated after seeing that toxin screen, but David manages to find one with a headhunter, which opens up their control of the site. They can get that spike down. Sutma over towards Hookah is getting work done from there, though. Akimbo, who's putting down a satchel to try and get in, gets taken out by a well-timed shot. Mask trying to hold off everyone from the KOVA side, but they will manage to take the round. Only 2 casualties, not too bad.
Yeah, Hookah's just funneled back into Garden, back into Belong, back into the waiting arms of Ale on the sky. He's been having an absolute tear of a map so far. And for Hookahs, their composition is relying on David to be able to move forward and find these initial picks, but we are yet to really see the chamber make the same impact that Vicious is having, and surely this is going to be a Hookahs timeout, as now they have to discuss what exactly is going to happen, because they invested the Viper's Pit into that Twiggy, and we didn't see it, because at the same moment of activation, Mishu falls.
Yeah, it was a risky move, and Mishu just doesn't get the value out of it that they wanted. I think the plan is probably going to be Operator go burr, Tour de Force next round go burr. For David, we'll see. But yeah, KOVA are in a nice position after a tough start to the game. They can really bring this one back, and this is kind of being as close as we thought it would be. I didn't think it was going to flip-flop this wildly. You know, 4 rounds in the way of Hookahs to begin with is it's something you don't see all that often unless it's a one-sided game, but then KOVA bring it back. And they're now looking at probably, well, maybe 4-4, but Hookahs definitely have the economy to buy into this round and make it difficult for them. David does not opt for the Operator, instead just goes with the Vandal. Good old. Has the Tour de Force next round anyway, no matter. So,
I think they were also discussing as well how this orbital strike is going to be used. Is it going to be proactive or is it going to be reactive? Because you're not running the Sova. You do have the Seekers. You need something to counterplay this Viper's Pit, which is now going to be funneling you away from A-Shot, pushing you towards Vicious with this Operator. If you invest the Orbital Strike, you do at least clear the Viper's Pit, you do at least force Sutma away and create an opening on A-Short, but already look behind the Viper and you can see Shed in position if the Viper is challenged. The Raze is going to be there with the paint shells to make sure all of that momentum, that pushing power Hookahs are looking to secure with the ultimate, is snuffed out.
Being funneled through showers right now. Flash is going to give a good amount of information to the team. See, the Seekers are ready from Sunshine. They will use them. It's going to be very useful around this corner. Master and Mishu open things up. Shed with a paint grenade gets one, and the Showstopper comes out as well. Going to look for value here. Finds the back of Akimbo before he can get away from that Showstopper now. Looking for more. Shed finds one. Making it 3 kills on the board. Has to back out, 23 HP.
They haven't got the site control that they were looking for. Hookahs opened things up, and they were pushed away. They have at least been able to secure both the Viper's Pit and the Showstopper away from KOVA, but now how do you challenge Vicious, who's still anchored? The Viper's Pit still in play, making it so hard for Sitma's position to be read out. Got 11 seconds left. You're trying to push forward and find the picks, but David knows you can't go for the spike plant. You don't have the space. The thank you is going to give your position away, has to check lamps, and then is able to move towards truck and get the plant, but Vicious with their headhunter takes out the mirror, and KOVA will be able to take the round.
David really left that to the dying breath. There was a matter of milliseconds left in the round before that spike could have gone on the floor there. But, yeah, just came back, and it's just an awkward situation to try and win when they know that you can't leave that site. You have to go in towards it. You've got 2 players waiting for you, and they can just play it as slow as possible. That ult was, I mean, so close to not killing Akimbo, but it did just enough work, and Shed was massively influential that round.
I mean, it was so close to getting a 2k as well. There's like a real double edge to using Seekers, right? It gives away that Hookahs are in showers.
Yeah.
It shows that you can just hang back as the Rays hold Showstopper until they're ready to push forward, and then you punish. There is the push forward from KOVA, but David is actually the one who's able to find the pick and immediately just uses the rendezvous. However, we're really wanting to try and push that chamber away, so that tour de force was not something that Vicious had to keep an eye for, and that operator could go uncontested.
Yeah, what did
and
I
it
say?
has meant that Hookahs now have that momentum that they were looking for. This is really the first time they find that first blood, but instantly Sunshine is gone.
Mast is able to take out Sutma, making it a 4v3 for the team now. They're going to move in towards A concertedly, get those smokes all the way down and just make sure they can get that plant for free. Meanwhile, KOVA kind of split across the map. I think Mast is ready for Shed to be on this flank here, waiting. Watching stairs, David also watching Link there. Is able to see this one. I think they're both going to come at the same time. I'm sorry, spectators. Shed takes down one and Jessamine takes down David. Neither of them managed to find their kills, which leaves 2 players on site by themselves. Mishu trying to hold down A short while Akimbo takes down Vicious over towards Heaven. Now it's a 2v2 and they can keep a hold of this one. It's definitely going to be difficult for KOVA to retake this. They need to get in quickly, and the Satchels get them into the smoke. Akimbo is taken down by a Satchel of Shed's doing that. Jessamine can't defuse that. Wow. Okay, Hookahs managed to hold on to the end of that one. It was looking a little scary after those 2 flankers found their kills, but...
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that you had to flank though, because there is the default position for a reason. You plant the spike, and then you have to set up the Viper can just cycle those double snake bites. And it's something that KOVA are expecting. I don't think they're expecting to run into the agent that they run into, but it does take them away from the fight on the site itself, and it means that they can't stop that crossfire of Mishu getting the aid of Akimbo. As now Hookah starts to recover, but Vicious once again with the tour de force pushes up into cover and secures all of that space, and if Hookahs want to push onto the A side, they are going to be denied the setup of the crossfire that every team desires. It is going to have to be a showers push, or you challenge the chamber. Something that Mishu really does not want to do. They know where Vicious is likely to be playing from. They're expecting it. This is something that he's done, but there is so much more risk for a player that can't TP out when challenged.
Again, it's a very slow start from the 2 teams. They've felt each other out for a while now, and I feel like both of them are definitely respectful of each other, knowing that a round really could go either way no matter what. The economical damages for both teams, so you can see the spread across the map nicely here. That guiding light will not find any information, which means I can push up a little further, and KOVA have already made this push happen from behind here. Luckily, there will be a trademark down, but will they be looking in time? Sunshine does get the kill, and actually hunts for a little more. Jessamine can't get away in time. Masked, I think, might have heard somebody else there and just called them to push. Now they can move in towards A. KOVA got a little aggressive there and kind of gave away the site. You can see David is still over towards B as well. It's going to go for a flank through CT.
Oh, that's dangerous. Vicious has been smoked off as well. Can't find anything through the sky smokes with that tour de force. Shed's gonna be immediately giving away that position in link with the boombot, and there too is the snake bite to stop that flank from furthering. However, Misha comes out of position, out of cover to try and find the pick, but David, there's the flank that we were looking for. They're able to snap into KOVA's back. And it's now just Shed, 2 satchel packs, and a phantom. Spike already ticking down, wants to just try and look for those exit frags and keep the rifle safe. We've seen how close this can be. We know how important any economy, any little gain, any new weapon can make such a big difference in these close areas.
Hookahs make it 6.5. Some breather that they really wanted. Gives them a little more economy to work with. It means that for the rest of the half they don't really have to worry too much. 2 rounds remaining, and if they win this round, they'll have a pretty free run of it, honestly, into that last one, up against KOVA's lower economy. They still have enough money to buy into next round, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a little bit of a half. It's going to be a little patchy from them, so... No, David really getting a lot of work done with the rifles this time. We usually see him a lot of the time on that operator, if not using the tour de force, but he's getting so much work done just by himself. On the duelist roll, the Hellfire orbital strike used to clear lamps. You see that so often, and I feel like it never gets value. I don't think I've ever seen an early lamp to actually find a kill or push anybody out. I feel like everybody avoids lamps as soon as they see orbital strike available, but, you know, oh well.
When VALORANT released, yeah, it would get multi-kills, but the game's been out for a very long time. It has, however, allowed Hookahs to move through. Orbital strike does have quite a big old sight effect that does block off sight lines from heaven too, but unfortunately for Hookahs, because they used so much to get onto sight, are they going to be able to hold on? Somehow! Sunshine's not able to connect the spray onto the remaining 2 members. And KOVA will breathe a sigh of relief and get the defuse. But it was risky for a moment. It was real risky.
Yeah. That was the, in a sense, really, that Vandal diff in that spraying through that toxin screen gave away the locations of a lot of those players there. Mishu, they already knew he was there. It was just, he was spraying aimlessly until they saw where he was shooting from. Get that done. Oh, 1 round left in the half, and both teams can buy into it. But again, both teams kind of a little awkward with the buy. A Bulldog on the side of KOVA, a Guardian on the side of Hookahs. So a lot of this work is going to be done early on in the round, and that's a lot of damage onto Master already.
And look at how far KOVA's had Sutma first up. Does not want to let that last ult up go to Mishu. They know the Viper's Pit is there, and even Mishu actually opting for the Guardian to try and get that distance. So you can get the ultimate on that. Hello, Shed will actually take themselves out, but takes David out of the fight too. And suddenly, Vicious with the operator is not going to be challenged. You can't reposition. But all of that commotion, all of that noise is still forcing KOVA to keep an eye on the A site, whereas the Spike has started to move its way towards the B. It's the Nebula going to be coming through from Jasmine, trying to buy time for the team to be able to get the rotation.
Wow, Jasmine cancels the showstopper in the nick of time. Kimbo can't quite find the kill, but Sunshine does a lot of the work for them. They're going to get that Spike down. Mishu almost has Viper's Pit available. If they can find 1 kill on this one, they can pretty much close out this round with no effort whatsoever. Up against Sutma and Vicious. Operator in hand for Vicious. Has the rendezvous available. And just get 1 free shot, but no, Hookahs aren't going to give them an inch in that round, and they take the half 7-5.
Yeah, Operator is always really clunky in those situations. You either need 1 player to act as bait and draw them into line of fire, or you need to hit a no-scope.
Yeah.
And that's something that Hookahs don't really allow, as we will see the half come through. 5-7. And this is where it gets a little bit dangerous, because it was the attacking team who came out with the 2-round advantage. And we know a lot of these rounds in Valorant are very defensively favored. It does hinge a lot of it on economy, but when you're running into the chamber, we've already seen the early work that Vicious was putting in on those early rounds with the Headhunter was massive. It allowed KOVA to find a real good lead for a couple of rounds, and it's something that Hookahs are now going to be looking to position David in, but David actually is not going to be pushed forward aggressively. gonna be holding a little bit further away, more passive than their counterpart. And that's not really something that KOVA are going to be expecting. As you can see, this absolute assault of utility trying to force out Hookah's position. And they're not falling for it. They're cutting noise almost entirely and making KOVA use so much utility to get their way through any space.
Yeah, KOVA really wanted to make a quick push happen. They got held back and masked with the Incendiary and the Classic doing a lot of damage. 2 headshots already, that's a third, he's looking for a fourth, he's got it! Vicious down, and there's only one player left in Sutma who is killing his teammates systematically. It's not going to happen to Kimbo. This is managing to close out that round, but I feel like Master's the MVP there, probably.
Yeah, I mean, well, when KOVA wanted to actually move through A short, because Hookahs had done such a darn good job of disguising their positions, KOVA had exhausted practically all of that utility. The second that they wanted to push forward, the molly is there, and that's just slowing things down immediately, forcing Shed to parkour over A short, and immediately gives you that opportunity in the falling animation to get those first pot shots off, and the rest of KOVA follow suit. As now we will see Hookahs upgrading into the SMGs. Boombot going to be dropped through the sky smoke, again allowing no one on the side of KOVA to move forward and get the ult off. Yes, we see the grab well pulling Akimbo in place and keeping them there, but again, there is no capitalization. It is utility that has been invested, and KOVA have found nothing. They can't even push through showers until the sky smoke is gone, otherwise they're moving in blind.
Speaking of blind, Akimbo finds his first pick in the round. And the rest of them are hiding around there as well, sneaky KOVA players. Shed is right around the corner, and I think Akimbo really knows that there are people there. He's been a little paranoid this whole round, throwing utility everywhere, but he's stuck in a corner now. They're going to try and push him out of it, but he'll find the first pick, the second pick, looking for more. He throws in the paint shell, very close range. Master's able to take down Shed to keep that one away. It's just Ale left, and Akimbo sprays through the smoke to find his 4th kill. I think 3 of those he didn't really see the player.
Well, I mean, at that point, it doesn't really matter, does it? You are doing your duty for your team. You're basically just holding down with the spray, not allowing KOVA any sort of movement, and that has very much been what we've seen from Hookahs. When it comes to contesting KOVA, the second that these rounds, these halves, had swapped on through, no one can push through the sky smoke. Otherwise, they're running straight into a race with that utility, and you are constantly paranoid. Are there satchel packs? Are there paint shells? Beneath these smokes, as once again, Hookahs is now going to go for very early levels of aggression, not allowing KOVA to access these ultimates to have a little bit of a safety cushion to push onto the site. But this time, Akimbo stays a little bit too long, and KOVA will punish the predictability of Hookahs' position.
Master's stuck in the corner. Oh my god!
Still.
That's always lovely to see. You're stunned up, your fire rate is almost none, but you manage to hit the head anyway. And Shed falls to the ground.
Just thinking, oh my goodness!
Ale takes down Must. A little bit of revenge for the teammate, but they've already taken a lot of damage in this round. Even if they are only against 2 Spectre players here, this is not the way they wanted their bye round to go. It's a good bonus already for Hookahs. Down goes to Spike. Luckily, these 2 players both on the right side.
Of course, the double nebulas though.
Yeah.
And Sunshine still has a guiding light, still has a trailblazer. Should be able to invest the utility, but ooh, is caught out with the knife change animation. Isn't able to use that utility to buy the space for Mishu to try and push into showers, and that is going to cost. As KOVA start to claw in 6 to 9. They're adapting into what Hookahs is running from. Already you can see Hookahs just getting a little bit too over-aggressive once again, looking for that same level of control in showers, and now KOVA can entirely deny it. KOVA were the ones in the opening rounds of the defense, remember, who invested a lot of that utility very early on, and now it feels like Hookahs are the one who are burning themselves out of fuel.
It's important now that KOVA take that momentum and run with it here. It was a awkward finish for the round, or well, not an awkward finish, but an awkward start to the round before, which they need to clean up here, and they're coming into a full buying Hookahs now, who almost have a showstopper ready. They do have an orbital strike ready. Meanwhile, only Seekers on the side of KOVA. They just got to hold things down, Hookahs, and make sure KOVA can't get in. But again, KOVA playing slowly. These are two teams that have very similar attacking play styles, and they'll push in quite slowly, just get this information before they move forward. Mishu gets a little too aggressive, a little too overzealous, gets taken out by Ale. Sunshine has to move all the way back into elbow without the support of his Viper. They can start getting the spike down here, but Sunshine just taps him through the smoke. No chance they're getting that one down. He knows exactly where that's going. He'll hold down elbow, find one more kill onto Sutma. Shed with the trade.
30 seconds
Now they've only got 3 players, and one of them is very low HP in Vicious. Here comes the heal. The regrowth from Sky. There's the orbital strike to deny the plant. They have to get out of there. Mars finds a kill onto Shed. The last 2 players need to get the spike down very soon. The guiding light narrowly avoided by Vicious, but they'll hold down this doorway. Make sure Akimbo can't get in. He finds one pick. He just can't quite find the kill onto Ale. They clutch out the round just about.
Any other agent in Tube against that orbital strike would have been dead.
Yep.
But once again, Magician's trick. Chamber just getting to rendezvous straight out of it. No comeuppance. Having that extra body, allowing Vicious to get the pick onto Mask as you try and cross out from screens is massive as well. And KOVA, again, start to claw out that distance. Hookah's coming in on a budget buy. They will have a judge. This is still something that you have to be extremely wary of. Especially if you're pushing towards shower control. But KOVA know this is where Akimbo has liked to push before.
Oh!
This time, though, concussion comes through. Akimbo's still able to find the pick. And Shed practically delivers his head.
KOVA know that KOVA know that Akimbo likes a pusher.
I mean, I think the Satchel Pack was trying to jump over Akimbo, but the judge just really likes things up close and personal, and it very much was just someone called a delivery straight into that gun.
Yeah, delivery straight into the headhunter as well for David. He was fully ready for a lurking player to be around Fountain. He manages to get the kill, clear off B site, and it means that everybody can just stack towards A completely fine now. Nobody needs to think about moving. Oh, they stack up, but the headshot isn't available. Stinger for Mishu. Finds 2. Showstopper will finish things out with Akimbo. They managed to keep 4 members alive in their save. Oh, half fire, I guess.
It's the exact same thing, too. They try and push from A shorts. I mean, yeah, we do see the check into lamps, but it's still not enough. And the fact that Akimbo, whose position has been read out so often, you can close your eyes and just point when these rounds start. Ah, yes, Akimbo is going to be playing here. Master's going to be right there beside them. Who could have seen this coming? Apparently, certainly not KOVA in the previous round. Now, this time, they are going to be a little bit more passive towards their play towards showers, a little bit further away. As Vicious is going to want to make this tour de force count. It is the one thing that KOVA are relying on to secure themselves a couple of picks and brute force their way into this entrance. But Ukaz wisely only playing a game of Where's Wally, making sure that their position is not given away before the chamber reveals themselves. I say that, Dad is immediately going to cross into A shot without jiggle peeking.
I found Wally. He is dead. Oh dear. David. That's
a depressive twist on my childhood.
I mean, he's already wearing red. He probably wouldn't be able to tell.
What? Was the striped t-shirt a funeral shroud?
No, it's just bloodstained. Oh dear. Well, even with that opening pick, KOVA don't want to push the issue. They know, we're on lower economy. Our main pushing power is this tour de force. We've got to really kind of play it safely around here. And Hookahs don't really want to give him any more information other than David's corpse outside of lamps. Out comes the Viper's Pit. Give him a nice safe plant. Vicious finds one more with tour de force. Akimbo flashed up fully. No chance to get a kill there, but Mars finds his first pick of the round and does a lot of damage through the toxin screen. Showstopper, perfect. Oh, it hit the wall. How? How is he not dead?
Yeah,
Sunshine
reduced to 20 HP, but Sunshine is gonna be that with the regrowth is gonna heal maxed up to full. Now you have to be concerned. Skysmoke gonna be cutting off an angle from showers. The spray starting to come through. Spike has been down for a while though, and Hookahs know they have to challenge this. They have to enter the Viper's Pit. The lair that comes through. And having that just a little bit more visibility from Sutma allows KOVA to direct their shots into the bodies. It looked rough. It looked like Hookahs would be able to run away with that one, especially with the spray that Sunshine was putting through. But KOVA pull it out in the end.
Yeah. One of the ways you're going to convert a thrifty round is with ults like Tour de Force and Viper's Pit for sure. And Showstopper, although it didn't somehow manage to hit Masked. I don't really know. We couldn't really see. Toxin screen locked off our view of where that hit, but I think it just hit triple. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But it seems like a straight shot. Mishu is going to be pushed all the way back by a guiding light. Does not want to fight that one out. David pushes up with the headhunter. He's already done a lot of work with that one, but not this time. Doesn't manage to find a head there. Bye, dog. KOVA looking towards B, but I mean they're spread all across the map once again, looking for picks.
I mean, they're also trying to figure out where Hookahs have positioned this raise. Jasmine hasn't been able to find the raise, has been able to find David though. And already you can see the fact that Hookahs do like to house themselves up in these very same positions, round upon round, is punishing them, even if they change the agent. They like to station themselves there, as it is going to be a Cosmic Divide. Blitzing off Heaven Sight, allowing KOVA free passage, not having to worry about Shower's control, make it safely through A short, but who is going to suspect the Kimbo? They have to know the raise has not been spotted. Keep an eye out for the crossfire that Hookahs are desiring to set up.
So 4 members alive. Sunshine finds the head of Yasmin there. Almost nowhere. Vicious can't quite get the flick down onto the players. Swarming the site now. Ale is going to try and hold them off. Mishu gets the first pick. Sutma's there with the trade. Sunshine taking down Vicious. Shed and Sutma on the board. KOVA just about managed to clutch out that round. Again, it's very close. They're making it expensive, Hookahs.
Pick up the up. Ooh,
Unlucky.
Shed is sprinting to try and grab that gun.
He really wanted it.
Really wanted it. Is not going to get it. And there's a reason they wanted it. Hookahs is now going to be able to afford an op of their own. Mishu with the Viper's Pit as well, and we've seen so often today teams just drop that Viper's Pit, especially on the defense, very early on to try and kite into the operator, and already you can hear the activation coming on through. This time though, that's nasty. The Viper's Pit is actually where the operator is playing around, and KOVA may well not be expecting this. However, Mishu is taken out. The Viper's Pit going to be out of play alongside. And now David is still going to be able to find the pick as Shad just crosses through, not quite expecting the chamber to be holding on site.
Yasmin already made his way through into A. Oh, Akimbo's not going to be expecting that whatsoever. Don't do something like that to a man with a family. Must. Anti-flash, perfect. Takes down Vicious. Oh, but he's backing right up into Sutma. It doesn't, I mean, he was flashed up. Nothing he can do there. David finds one with the operator though, and it's a 2v2 now. Spike is going to go down to KOVA. Sunshine has already made his way through and might be able to find Ali. No. Not going to commit to turning around the corner. Does a little bit of damage, but not enough to discourage him from holding down.
Should be able to set David up, who has been able to drop the op for a Phantom. Able to find Ally now. It's just Sutma uses the Toxin screen to give a little bit of a better position. It's going to cross right in front! Oh,
that's well read by Sunshine.
Oh, that is pain.
Don't even start that.
Trying to use the Toxin screen to get a better little information on why Hookahs are playing from places you right in front of that gun barrel.
Ah, unlucky. I mean, Hookahs just about taking it over the line now. Sunshine perfectly read what Sutma was going to do there. I mean, fakes a defuse, knows that he has to peek the spike. Let's position myself on the exact other side of that. Lovely.
Well, Hookahs sit 11, KOVA to 9. The operator once again going to be in hand for David. A guiding light opening things up on B-Long, but David once more not playing with the sky, and this time will be punished, not using that flash to try and set them up. KOVA now find the momentum that they were looking for. Mask trying to just hide as the Nebula ensconce the site. Rosback is finding Shed. Akimbo, given away, has the satchel pack to make sure that no one can try and follow through, and Showers There's the second one without the utility will be hunted down. And this is KOVA very quickly grabbing control.
Making it such a close game. We knew it was going to be a close match, but this is another level right next to each other at this point. Neck and neck. They're now switching rounds every couple. Nobody has managed to get more than 2 rounds in a row in this half whatsoever.
A big part of it, right, is that they're both relying on the operator. And if you lose a round with an operator and you continuously fall by into that one, then your economy is going to hit hard. Both when you lose entire rounds with all of your teammates dying, but also when you win but scrape a win. You still find yourself dropping weapons, but David, despite not having an operator, will have a tour de force. He's using the Nebula to try and get a little bit closer to the team, but runs straight into the Trailblazer and is forced to use the rendezvous to get out before punishment can come due.
Alright. Mishu holding down. Oof. Right around the box. Frenzy in hand. Can do a lot of damage. Shed is watching down here. I think they know that, you know, on an eco round, the charge is available here, the Frenzy. Footsteps, Shed, slowly, waiting. Trailblazer, used. Once again, teams just feeling each other out here. What's happening? Oh, up they jump, and there comes the Frenzy. Yasmin is there with the trade. Too little, too late. You've already lost that player to a much lower economy one. And all the damage Hukars does now will compound itself later on into this 11-11 scoreline, and David is there with the tour de force. There he is with the second, and he gets out of there with the rendezvous. 2 players left on the KOVA side, and Hukars once again have made an eco round. Massive for themselves. Well, not an eco round, but one of their players was eco. Half.
They have to know that Sunshine's an outward. They will be able to take Sunshine out. They should be able to get the spike planted, but not if the orbital strike comes through. Again, precious seconds wasted, 14 seconds left on the clock. Ale trying to make sure that no one can peek out from elbow. Akimbo's paint shells is going to stop Jasmine from getting the spike planted. And Hukars set themselves up on match point. For KOVA, you can really see that Astronaut coming into play. The Nebula just petering out as Shed tries to move away from Hooker. That David's tour de force was able to catch the rays in the back of the skull, and then you're relying on the smoke to try and cut off that angle. There it is. Cut off that angle in screens, but David's already done the damage. And all without the guiding light, so you still have to unseat the sky holding the crossfire in elbow. Burns so much time off the clock. It's not a clean buy for KOVA in this round.
Yep. It's going to be real important now for KOVA to bring this one back, and they are not looking good in terms of their buy. Lots to work here. Shed going to look for that showstopper. Now has it available. Out comes the Viper's Pit to give them some space. Satchels from Akimbo to try and push them back. There's a Cosmic Divide as well from Yesmond. Vicious uses the tour de force too. I mean, can't really commit much more into a round. Well, there you go, you can. Showstopper also down, doesn't get any value. Mars is able to get the kill as well in the second onto Vicious. There's 2 ults destroyed in a matter of seconds.
Oh,
Seekers
no.
find out where these KOVA players are. Only 3 left remaining. 2 of them are inside here, and out comes Akimbo spraying around the corner. It's just up my left, and the defuse is coming through. Sunshine manages to make it the last kill of the round, and Hukars take the first map 13-10. It was close, but Hukars definitely came away with that victory in a concerted manner.
Yeah, I mean, it was the economy as well that really just did that team in. Unfortunately, KOVA not able to continuously buy into the operator. They rely on the Cosmic Divide, letting them get onto that site safely, and giving away nothing of where they're playing from. But the Showstopper finds nothing. It is the double-edged sword, where you don't know where they're playing from, they don't know where you're playing from. No one has sound cues. And it is Mask who is able to recover and then pick out not just the rays, but also the chamber wielding the tour de force. And from there, KOVA are very much not a threat. The Seekers have given away all of their position. You're running, if you're Jasmine, with a Guardian. In Lamps, having just tried to shoot through the Sky's ultimate, you're so extremely vulnerable. And Hukars just immediately snap back, getting a very safe defuse.
Yeah, Hukars, I mean, like, this was a map pick. We know how good KOVA can beat on our upcoming map on Split. They are kind of a force to be reckoned with, but Hookahs just seem to be able to pull things out right when they need to. It's always the perfect time for them to do all that. And everybody put up such a good performance there. I can't think of a single player who did not do incredibly well there from Hookahs to clutch out the victory. It was so close that everybody had to get involved at different points of the round, and no matter what KOVA threw at them throughout this map, they managed to get it done. Oh, lovely slow-mo on that.
Yeah, I mean, I really love as well the matchup between Masked and Akimbo. Like, it's not often that you get to see Raze and the Brimstone working together, but it is truly terrifying when you're up against it. David was doing some stellar work, being able to hold the spaces on their own, but the fact that you could, if you were KOVA, just entirely have to ignore showers, or put so much utility into it both early on at the beginning of the rounds, and then later on if you didn't have that space tucked away. And it shows. You can see the fact that, yes, Sunshine is the MVP for Hookahs, but you look at the ACS between Masked and Akimbo and how close it was. The amount of impact that those two agents had on the A site allowed Hookahs' defense just such a breathing bubble to work with.
Yeah. Well, moving this into next, there's not much to separate these guys whatsoever. If you just like compare side by side these ACSs, these KDAs, there is pretty much nothing to separate these two teams right now. It's really going to be down to whoever comes away with the better economy, whoever just wins the important rounds, and you could see how these important rounds made it so good for them. You know, every time they were on different economies, every time Hookahs managed to clutch out a round where they were on lower economy, they just managed to make a tour de force work, or a couple ults work, and just kind of push it over the edge. Those really important rounds are what tipped it for them. A difference of 3 is almost nothing at the end of a game. So, I mean, so close from them. We're going to be able to see how Hookahs defend KOVA over on Split. We'll be able to see how KOVA can try and come up with an answer for this, because they really do need to. Two games in the next 3 games, they need to be able to qualify for the playoffs, and last time they missed it by 1 map. So it's going to be really important for them. We'll see. We're going to go to a quick break. Be there in just a second. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Mast, I'm the IGL for Hookahs.
My name is Davut, I play for Hookahs and I'm the duelist/intrafagger.
Our performance in Split 1 wasn't the best. We definitely learned a lot, and we're gonna take that experience with us and hopefully get our revenge on all the teams.
I think we played well, but we didn't perform as good as we should have, and we lost some games we shouldn't, and played closer in matches we won, like the HCO one for example. But like overall, I think it went okay, but it didn't go the way we wanted it to go, so definitely things to improve on.
Well, the stuff that we changed is we changed a player on our team. We changed Yalo to Sunshine, which has helped our team a lot. It's a greater fit, and the synergy is there, and everyone just has a good time. We also improved a lot on strats, and just the fundamentals of our gameplay has changed a lot.
We tried to go back to the basics, like try stuff, like swap around roles and stuff like that, and see like if we had better fits that could like play the different roles. So like just going back to the basics and strats.
Sunshine brings like strats, he's really wise, and he frags out, so he brings a lot to the table in the team. Our goals for Split 2 is just to get revenge on all the teams. Last Split was not the greatest, and we're definitely here to win, but first of all, we want our revenge.
I would say get to playoffs. That's my personal goal, and probably also the one for the team.
The team we're looking to get revenge against is Human Tripwires. That was not fun losing to, so I'm definitely looking to get my revenge against them.
Probably Human Tripwires, because we used to play with Ratsky before, so like I think that would be the one.
The players to look out on the team is just everyone. I think we all are mechanical gifted.
Everyone on the team is very mechanically gifted and very like wise, in-game wise, and like game sense and stuff. Everyone has their roles and does them very well.
We're clever and we're gonna play a lot together, so just look for the team and you'll definitely see some highlights.